Good morning, students of class 4th. Students, I'm sure you all are happy and healthy at home. Please stay in your homes, stay safe and secure. Children, today I'll be continuing with lesson 5, Gulliver's Travel. I'll be starting with the exercise of comprehension. So please take out your Wordsworth English Reader book and turn to lesson 5, Gulliver's Travel. Students, I have already read and explained lesson 5, Gulliver's Travel. Today, I'll be starting with the exercises of comprehension. But students, before I start with the exercises, I'll once again read the lesson to you. Please listen to me carefully. I'm only 42 years old. Still, I have already had many strange adventures in my travels to far off lands of the world. Strange adventures aren't what you would expect from someone named Dr. Lemuel Gulliver. But being a doctor in London just didn't satisfy me. Traveling to distant lands in the world always fascinated me. So, after qualifying as a doctor, I signed up as a ship's doctor and spent 3.5 years sailing around Europe. I accepted an offer from the captain of a ship named Antelope to be the ship's doctor on a voyage to the South Seas. We set sail from Bristol, England on May 4th, 1699. And after peacefully crossing the South Seas, we were hit by a violent storm off the west coast of Australia. Poor food and too much work while braving the storm caused the death of 12 of our crew and weakened the rest. So, when the wind drove us onto some rocks and split the ship apart, only 6 seamen, myself included, had enough strength to get a lifeboat down into the sea and row clear of the ship and rocks. Suddenly, a strong blast of wind from the north overturned our little boat and scattered my companions. I never laid my eyes on them again. I began swimming in whichever direction the wind and the waves pushed me. I don't know how many hours I spent struggling, but just when I was completely exhausted and water seemed to be filling my lungs, my feet suddenly touched bottom. I took in several mouthfuls of air and looked up to heaven. It must have been about 8 in the evening. The storm had decreased, and there was enough light to make out land about a mile away. I spent the next 2 hours trying to drag myself towards the shore. I was so weak and tired when I finally limped out of the sea that I dropped down on a patch of soft grass. Within moments, I was sound asleep. Students, this lesson, Gulliver's Travel, is an extract of the story Gulliver's Travel, whose author is Jonathan Swift. And in this lesson, Dr. Lemuel Gulliver is the writer who is telling us about the adventures he came across on his voyage. Dr. Lemuel Gulliver, children, was a 42-year-old man, and he says that at the age of 42 years, he had experienced many adventures to far off lands in the world. And they were all strange adventures, which nobody could think also that a doctor would experience such adventures. He tells us that when he qualified as a doctor, the job of a doctor did not satisfy him. He was always fascinated to see different parts of the world. Traveling to distant lands in the world always fascinated him. So, after qualifying as a doctor, he took up a job as a ship's doctor. And the ship in which he was a doctor, the name of the ship was Antelope. So he said that he had spent 3.5 years sailing around Europe. He got an offer to be a ship's doctor and he accepted it, and he became a doctor on the ship called Antelope. And then on May 4th, 1699, from Bristol, England, they started sailing towards the South Seas. He left his family behind in London only, and he became the doctor of the ship. And doctor of the ship means he'll be treating the crew. If they fall sick or anything happens to them, they need a doctor. So in mid of the sea, they won't be able to get a doctor. So a doctor was appointed on the ship so that he could treat the crew members. So Dr. Lemuel Gulliver tells us that they started sailing from Bristol, England, and they crossed the South Seas peacefully. But after crossing the South Seas, near the west coast of Australia, their ship met with a violent storm. And the storm was so violent that there was a shortage of food on the ship, and the crew of the ship, crew means the people who are working on the ship, they faced the storm and there was shortage of food, so they had become weak and they had to do lots and lots of work to face the storm and save the ship. So while braving the storm and due to shortage of food, 12 men died. 12 men of the crew died, and only 6 seamen were left, including Dr. Lemuel Gulliver. Only 6 seamen were left on the ship. And then what happened? The wind drove the ship Antelope onto some rocks, and the force was so much that the ship Antelope, it broke apart. So to save their lives, these 6 seamen, they took a lifeboat. Children, lifeboats are there on ships. In case of emergency, people can use the lifeboat and sail to save the life. So these 6 seamen also, including Dr. Lemuel Gulliver, they took a lifeboat to get down into the sea. They'll cross the sea now with the lifeboat and row the boat. One has to row the boat while the ship, it doesn't needs to be row. बेटा नाव को तो आपको खेना पड़ता है ना, और नाव खेने को इंग्लिश में रो बोलते हैं. So these 6 men had to row the boat to cross the sea and reach the shore. But what happened? Suddenly a strong blast of wind overturned their little boat in which they were sailing, and all the 6 seamen, they were scattered like toys in the sea. बेटा वो सब चारों तरफ जब तेज हवा के झोंके ने उनकी बोट को पलटा, उलट दिया, तो वो 6 के 6 चारों सी वाटर में स्कैटर हो गए, जैसे कोई भी सामान टूट के कैसे बिखरता है वैसे वाटर में बिखर गए. एंड दैट वाज द लास्ट टाइम डॉक्टर लैमुएल गिलिवर हैड सीन his fellow seamen. They must have drowned, or either they must have drowned or they must have reached some shore. But Dr. Gulliver says that he didn't see them after that. When the boat overturned. And then, to save himself, Dr. Gulliver started swimming. He swam in the direction where the winds and the waves pushed him, because it is easier to swim in the direction of the wind and the waves. And if you try to swim in the opposite direction, you won't be able to swim because it takes a lot of strength. And as Dr. Gulliver was saying, there was a shortage of food, and so they had already weakened. So he started swimming in the direction of the winds and the waves. बेटा वो हवा और जो लहरें थी इसी के उन्हीं की दिशा में स्विम करने लगा. And he kept on struggling. बेटा वो पूरी फोर्स के संग स्विम करता रहा. He did not give up. उन्होंने हार नहीं मानी. But there's a limit for everything. And maybe for many hours, लगातार बेटा, for many hours he had to swim, maybe for days and nights also. And then he says कि I was completely exhausted. And when a moment also came that now he felt that he'll be drowning. The water of the sea, if you stop swimming, what will happen? And if you're somewhere in the deep water, the water starts entering your lungs. And then you also gradually are unable to breathe, and then you also start drowning in the water. So a moment came when all his energy, he had lost all his energy, and he could no more swim. That time, water of the sea started going into his lungs. But suddenly at that time, his feet touched the bottom. तभी बेटा जब उसको लगा कि पानी उसके लंग्स में जा रहा है, वो और स्विम नहीं कर सकता, तभी उसके जो बेटा पैर हैं वो कहीं जो समुद्र की सतह है वहां पे जाके लगे. तो now suddenly that thought came to his mind that now he is somewhere near the shore. So what he did, he took several mouthfuls of air. बेटा जब लंग्स में पानी जा रहा था, he was unable to breathe. फिर उसने खूब तेज तेज सांस लेनी स्टार्ट की. And then he looked up to the heaven. He must be looking up to the heaven to thank God that God, finally I'm somewhere near the shore. And it must be around 8 in the evening, but still he was able to see the land around a mile away. But then he was so tired and exhausted that covering the distance of the land from where he was, almost a mile away, it took him 2 hours. बेटा 1 माइल का डिस्टेंस उसको 2 घंटे लगा उनको कवर करने में, because he was so tired and weak. वो बुरी तरह से थक गए थे. वो किसी तरह ही, it took him 2 hours to drag himself and come to the shore. And when he reached the shore, children, he was extremely exhausted, tired and weak. वो किसी तरह से लंगड़ाते हुए वाटर से बाहर निकल के he tried to come on the land. And जैसे ही वो लैंड पे पहुंचे जहां उनको एक ग्रास का पैच मिला, वो इतने थक चुके थे कि वो खड़े नहीं हो पाए और उनकी बॉडी सडनली उस पैच ऑफ ग्रास पे गिरी. एंड देन within moments he was so tired that due to his tiredness, within moments he was asleep. वो तुरंत बेटा सो गए. So this was the lesson, summary of the lesson, Gulliver's Travel, children. Now let's go through the word meanings. Then I'll start with the exercises of comprehension. Now children, the first word is adventures. Adventures means unusual, unexciting experience. Experiences, children, which are not common, which you do not experience often, and that involves lot of excitement. Excitement in the sense here कि daring excitement. बेटा कभी कभी तो मतलब जान की बाजी भी लगाना पड़ता है ऐसे एडवेंचर्स. इट्स नॉट दैट एडवेंचर बट इंक्लूडिंग, मतलब फन एक होता है एडवेंचर यू डू फॉर फन, बट हियर you need to face the things bravely. Like he, Dr. Gulliver, he started sailing, and on the in the mid sea, their ship was faced by a violent storm, and they had to board on a boat, and then finally the boat also overturned. And then one time also came when Dr. Lemuel Gulliver thought ki now he'll be losing his life, he'll be drowning in water, but ultimately he reached the land. So here beta jaan ka bhi unko khatra tha. Adventure where you need to put your life also at stake. So, adventure, unusual and exciting experiences. Second, distance. Distant means far away. Beta dur. Distant, far away. Distant, far away. The third word is fascinated. Fascinated, strongly attracted. Fascinated, strongly attracted. Like children, when you go to the toy shop, you are fascinated by various toys, isn't it? So, fascinated means strongly attracted. Then, fourth word is voyage, and voyage means long journey. Voyage means long journey. Like Dr. Lemuel Gulliver, he had gone on a voyage and he had to stay in his journey for 3.5 years. That's quite a long time for a journey, isn't it? So, voyage, long journey. Then the fifth word, children, is violent. Violent means very forceful or powerful. बेटा बहुत ताकतवर. Violent generally बेटा होता है जिसमें physical force apply करते हैं, है ना? And then the sixth word is braving. Braving, to face with courage. Braving, to face with courage means बेटा हिम्मत से सामना करना. किसी भी चीज का हिम्मत से सामना करना. Then the seventh word is drove. Drove means pushed. Drove means pushed. धक्का देना. Drove means pushed. Eighth word is split. Split, to break. Split, to break. बेटा टूट जाना. Split, टूट जाना. Scattered. Scattered means beta bikhar jana. To spread in different directions. Scattered, to spread in different directions. Scattered, to spread in different direction. Then the 10th word is exhausted. Exhausted, very tired. Exhausted, very tired. Exhausted, very tired. And 11th word is drag. Drag means to pull. खींचना. Drag means to pull. और खींचने को हम इंग्लिश में क्या बोलते हैं? Drag. Drag means to pull. Drag means to pull. And the last word, children, is limped. Limped, walk with difficulty. Walked with difficulty. चलने में दिक्कत होना. So, children, these were the word meanings. Now, let's go through the phrases. The first phrase, children, is set sail. Set sail means to start on a journey. किसी भी journey, सफर की शुरुआत करना. Set sail, to start a journey. To start a journey. Now, the next second phrase, children, is row clear. To move away using a boat. Row clear, to move away using a boat. Up now, here to row clear, when their ship broke apart, it had split, the ship had split, so they took a lifeboat to cross the sea. And boat, children, you need to row. वो अपने आप तो जाएगी नहीं, boat को आपको row करना पड़ता है. So try to remember it like that from the word row. Row clear, to move away using a boat. Row clear, to move away using a boat. And the third phrase is to make out. The third phrase is, children, to make out. To make out means to see. To make out means to see. To make out means to see. So, we have learned three phrases. The first one is set sail. Set sail means to start a journey. Set sail, to start a journey. Second, row clear, to move away using a boat. Row clear, to move away using a boat. Third, to make out, see. Third, to make out, see. Now, children, let's start with the comprehension. Exercise A of comprehension. And that is state whether the following statements are true or false. Now, we need to read the sentence, statements given, and then we have already read the story. So now we need to tell whether the given statement is true or false. If it has happened in the story, we'll mark it as true, and if it has not happened, we'll mark it as false. But children, please write the spelling of true and false correctly. Often you make spelling mistakes. You write TURE instead of TRUE. So please write TRUE. The correct spelling of true is TRUE, and false is FALSE, FALSE. And generally, children have a habit of writing it as FLASE, flask. No, it is FALSE, 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 false. So please write the spelling of true. So now, children, we'll be doing exercise A. State whether the following statements are true or false. The first statement, children, is the writer of the story was a doctor. This is a true statement. The writer was a doctor, Dr. Lemuel Gulliver. He was the one who has narrated the incidents to us. The author has written the book Gulliver's Travel. But the writer over here in this lesson, who is the writer, children? Dr. Lemuel Gulliver. वो हमें बता रहे हैं कि at the age of 42 years, he has had so many adventures in his life. And then whatever incidents happened, he's the one who's telling him, who's telling us about the incidents. So the writer of the story was a doctor. This is a true statement. Author बेटा आप कंफ्यूज मत होना. जो लेसन है इसका राइटर गलिवर्स ट्रेवल का कौन है? डॉक्टर लेमन गुलिवर. लेकिन जो स्टोरी गलिवर्स ट्रेवल जो ओरिजिनल स्टोरी बुक है उसके ऑथर हैं, who is the author? Jonathan Swift. So don't get confused. Author Jonathan Swift है और जोनाथन स्विफ्ट ने ही एक इमेजिनरी कैरेक्टर स्टोरी का बनाया, डॉक्टर लेमल गिलिवर. एंड डॉक्टर लेमल गिलिवर ही हमको स्टोरी में बता रहे हैं कि उनके संग when he went for a voyage, what all happened with him on the voyage. So the writer of the story was a doctor, true, Dr. Lemuel Gulliver. Now children, the second one. He hated the sea. Did Dr. Lemuel Gulliver hate the sea? No, this is a false statement. Rather, he was fascinated. So, because of his fascinations, only he took up a job on a ship as a doctor. So, he did not hate the ship. He was fascinated. He was fascinated. He wanted to see the different parts of the world. So, he took up a job as a ship's doctor so that while sailing he could see different lands. So he hated the sea is a false statement. Now the third one. He left his family behind in England because he wanted to sail. Yes, this is a true statement. He wanted to sail. So this was the reason he took up a job on the ship and he left his family behind in England. He started sailing from Bristol, but then his family was at England only while he started on a long voyage on a ship. So he had to leave his family behind in England. So this is a true statement. He left his family behind in England because he wanted to sail. This is a true statement. Now the fourth one. They had an uneventful, peaceful trip around the world. Was the trip peaceful? Was the trip uneventful? No. So this is a false statement. बेटा उनके संग एक इवेंट तो हो गया था. उनको एक बहुत वायलेंट स्टॉर्म रास्ते में मिला जिससे कि उनकी शिप जो है वो रॉक से टकरा गई. एंड व्हाट हैपेंड, मेनी सीमेन आल्सो डाइड. एंड फाइनली when Dr. Lemuel Gulliver along with 6 seamen, they tried to take a lifeboat, Their boat was also overturned. This was also an event. So their journey was full of events. तो बहुत सारे events हुए डॉक्टर लैमल गिलिवर के संग, and this was not at all a peaceful trip. Was it peaceful? No. They met with the storm. There was shortage of food. Many crew members died. The ship broke apart. So this was not at all peaceful and uneventful. Lot of events were there on the journey. So this is a false statement. They had an uneventful, peaceful trip around the world. This is a false statement. Now the fifth one. 12 members of the crew died in the violent storm. Yes, because of the violent storm, they had to work hard and there was shortage of food. So, because of the violent storm, only 12 members of the crew, they died. So, this is a true statement. Violent storm had weakened. There was a shortage of food on the ship, and while braving the storm, these men, they had to overwork, and overburden and shortage of food caused the death of 12 men, and this all had happened because of the storm only. So this is a true statement. Children, let's revise it once again. The first one, the writer of the story was a doctor, true statement. The writer of the story was a doctor, true statement. Second, he hated the sea, false statement. He hated the sea, false statement. Third, he left his family behind in England because he wanted to sail. This is a true statement. He couldn't take his family in the ship, so he had to leave them behind. So this is a true statement. He left his family behind in England because he wanted to sail. This is a true statement. Then fourth, they had an uneventful, peaceful trip around the world. Children, this is again false. Why? Because he faced lot of events and the journey was not at all peaceful. Till South Seas, it was peaceful, but after that, they had to undergo lot of problems. So they had an uneventful, peaceful trip around the world. This is a false statement. Now the fifth one, 12 members of the crew died in the violent storm. True. Because of facing the violent storm, there was a shortage of food, and while braving the storm, these 12 crew members, they passed away. So this is a true statement. Once again, let's revise. The writer of the story was a doctor. True. The writer of the story was a doctor. True. Second, he hated the sea. False. Second, he hated the sea. False. Third, he left his family behind in England because he wanted to sail. True. He left his family behind in England because he wanted to sail. True. Fourth, they had an uneventful, peaceful trip around the world. False. They had an uneventful, peaceful trip around the world. False. They had an uneventful, peaceful trip around the world. False. Fifth, 12 members of the crew died in the violent storm. 12 members of the crew died in the violent storm. True, children. So, these were the true and false statements of exercise A. I hope, children, you all have understood. So please write exercise A of comprehension in your English notebook. First, children, please write the name of the lesson, and after name of the lesson, put a hyphen on the next line and write Jonathan Swift, so that you remember every time when you turn the page, you'll see the name of Jonathan Swift. So you recall that Jonathan Swift is the author of the story Gulliver's Travel. And please don't get confused. The writer of the lesson is Dr. Lemuel Gulliver, whereas the author of Gulliver's Travel is Jonathan Swift. So when you write the heading, first write lesson 5 on top of the red line, then leave one line and write the name of the lesson, Gulliver's Travel. After that, leave one line, put a hyphen and write Jonathan Swift, so that you remember that Gulliver's Travels author is Jonathan Swift. And after that, please write the word meanings and please write neatly and leave one line after each word meaning. And then after writing the word meaning, children, please write meaning of phrases. There are three meaning of phrases given in the book. Please write those three phrases with their meanings, and from a new page, please start the comprehension. And exercise A we have done today, that is state whether the following statements are true or false. So you first write the statement, then put a hyphen and then write true or false. I don't want to see any T or F. Please write the complete spelling, TRUE true and FALSE false, so that you learn the spellings also, so that you don't make spelling mistakes. After the statement is over, put a full stop and after that write true or false and underline. I hope exercise A is clear to you, children. Now, children, once again, we'll revise the word meanings because these are new words for you and you need to remember them. Children, the first word is adventures. Adventure means unusual and exciting. Adventures mean unusual and exciting. Adventures mean unusual and exciting experiences. Adventures, unusual and exciting experiences. Adventures, unusual and exciting experiences. Second word, children, is distant. Second word is distant. Distant means far away. Distant means far away. Distant means far away. The third word is fascinated. Fascinated means strongly attracted. Fascinated means strongly attracted. Fascinated means strongly attracted. The fourth word is voyage. Voyage means long journey. Voyage means long journey. Voyage means long journey. The fifth word is violent. And violent means very peaceful or very forceful or powerful. Violent means very forceful or powerful. Violent means very forceful or powerful, which involves a lot of force and power. So violent means very forceful or powerful. The sixth word, children, is braving. Braving, to face with courage. 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 Now, the seventh word is drove. Drove means pushed. Drove means pushed. Drove means pushed. The eighth word is split. Split, to break. Split, to break. Split, to break. Split, to break. The ninth word is scattered. Scattered, to spread in different directions. Scattered, to spread in different directions. Scattered, to spread in different directions. Then the 10th word is exhausted. Exhausted means very tired. Exhausted means very tired. Exhausted means very tired. Then the 11th word is drag. Drag means to pull. Drag means to pull. Drag means to pull. And the last word, children, is limped. Limped means walked with difficulty.